republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Tamer, would you call the roll?
Conquest? Absent. Bastido?
Here.
Mulliner?
Here.
Brennan?
Here.
Verimus?
Here.
Deuter?
Here.
Dunn?
Here.
Hill?
Here.
Palumsky? Here. Jensen?
Here.
Toludo?
Here.
Cahill?
Here.
Nudera? Absent. Park? Absent. 11 present, 3 absent.
11 present, 3 absent. We have a quorum. Item 2, receipt of written communications from the public. Is there anyone in the chambers this evening that has a written communication they would like to deliver to the council? There being none, we move on to public forum. Clerk Tamer, has anyone signed up for public forum?
Yes, Mayor. We have Jim Hodap.
All right, sir, would you take the rear microphone, state your name on this side today, and your address is optional.
Can you hear me here?
Well, we're being recorded, so if you go over to the rear microphone, then the people who are watching at home would be able to hear. You may want to go right down that. There you go.
Okay.
What? I'm sorry. There you go.
Yes. I'm not too used to using a mic. Is that right there?
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I've written to the mayor and I've written to this young lady here, and I'm trying to save, the plants in my yard. I'm 78 years old. I'm out of money. I have a very small pension, and I own a McDougal beautiful home with a huge lot on Stewart Court. And I have been saving prairie for 35 years. My neighbor on the one side is embedded real estate agent in Elmhurst, and the other side is an embedded rehab. Both of them have wanted my property. Sometimes when I leave, they'll mow my property as if it's their property, and I come back, my yard has shrunk. And I've been reported by Reedy real estate agent 20, 30 times by the village. They come out. Now they give me $200 fines, 5 days to pay. Goes up to $500, $400. They came last week demanding to get into the backyard. So I would like the village either to grandfather me in and declare my yard a nature preserve so I can sell it as a nature preserve on the open market, organic, not chemically sprayed, original prairie plants that have been growing there for 10,000 years, which are now the people of the prairie right back there, people of the prairie. The people are still here. The prairie is gone. We have destroyed 99.99% of our ecosystem. And you have a code, the weed codes. Prairie is illegal in Elmhurst. I know, I've been fined $200 for letting natural prairie plants grow. I have prairie plants that the wild bees use. We're killing ourselves. The bee population is collapsing. If the bees die, we die. All the wees of the world. So I'm trying to save the biome, the future of our children. I understand some people think that a lawn that is chemically sprayed with no wildflowers, nothing in it, looks beautiful. It's a dead zone, a biological dead zone. So I would like either the village to purchase my land, let me live on it, I will manage it, I will teach people how to restore the ecosystem of our state, which is on the verge of collapse. So please, join me in saving the prairie 1 yard at a time. We don't have, we don't have any time left. And most adults and most young people I talk, it's too late. That's what they feel like. It's too late. that we're all going to die because of the earth, because the climate's out of control. Well, for God's sake, maybe that's true, but let's give them hope. Let's take a chance and change our ways. Let's stop spraying ourselves to death. We've killed not only the West Nile virus, we've killed the bats, we've killed the swallows, we've killed everything. There's no butterflies, there's no bees, and pretty soon there's going to be no wees. So I'm asking Elmhurst, we're last in the world. We have plowed or developed every inch of prairie. If we were Brazil, the forest would be gone. 99.9%. Since we're damaged the prairie the most, the world's ecosystem, let's be the first and declare, give people a hope, and let me teach them. I've been teaching for 78 years. I sent out the thing. Did you get that? Okay. That was a 3-page eco-observation. I taught at Oak Park for 23 years. That was written by one of the parents of my students. And what I'm trying to say is, please stop. Would you please tell the code department to stop coming and terrorizing me? You should not have a system where it has destroyed the neighborhood. Nobody talks to each other, and it's because of the real estate agent that lives next door. And when I reported him to his company, he attacked me physically.
Mr. Odep,
please, thank you very much.
Thank you. And I should have mentioned at the beginning, and I'll start doing this at the beginning of the meeting, the City Council, this is your opportunity to speak to us. We don't respond directly.
I got you.
But thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you. And in some sort of response, I would like you either to give me the right to have a nature preserve on my yard, which has monarchs, which has hawk moths, which has all kinds of wildlife on it, and snakes, and it's not contaminated, and there's bees, wild bees, but the wild bee population is totally collapsed. And it's partly. Thank you.
Message received. Thank you. Is anyone else signed in for public forum?
That is it, Mayor.
Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to speak at public forum, address the City Council that did not have the opportunity to sign in? There being none, we will close public forum. I see we have announcements back on the agenda, which we haven't had for a while, but all right. Any announcements this evening? We'll have to figure out how we fit in between those. All right, let's go on to the consent agenda. Is there any item on the consent agenda that any alderman would like to remove from the consent agenda to either discuss further or vote against? Alderman Deuter.
Item 5.5.
5.5. Anyone else? All right, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda minus item 5.5? Alderman Brennan with a motion, Alderman Jensen with a second. Clerk Tamer?
Conquest?
She has to read it.
I need to read
Oh,
it.
I'm sorry. I keep forgetting that. It was a little...
Yeah, no, I got a little alarm too. Okay, so 5.1, minutes of the regular meeting of the Elmhurst City Council on June 20th, 2022. 5.2, accounts payable, July 5th, 2022, total $1,922,835.51. 5.3, report, case 22, ZBA 06, click, variations, 110 South Elm Tree Lane. 5.4, report, case 22, P08, Bethel conditional use permit and variations, 315 East St. Charles Road. 5.5 is pulled. 5.6, 255 North Addison Parking Facility, 2022 maintenance repairs. 5.7, an ordinance rezoning, approving a final plat of subdivision and granting a conditional use permit for a planned unit development for the construction of townhomes on the property commonly known as 278 and 290 West Butterfield Road, Elmhurst, Illinois. 5.8, an ordinance amending section 44.120 entitled No Parking Zones enumerated of Division 3 entitled Parking Restrictions of Article 7 entitled Stopping, Standing, and Parking of Chapter 44 entitled Motor Vehicles and Traffic of the Elmhurst Municipal Code. 5.9, an ordinance amending section 22.42 entitled Regulations for Specific Uses, creating section 22.56 entitled Temporary Party and Event Tents, creating section 22.57 entitled Temporary Membrane Structures and Canopies, all contained in Article 4 entitled General Provisions, and amending sections 22.292 entitled Definitions of Article 13, entitled Rules and Definitions of Chapter 22, entitled Zoning of the Municipal Code of Ordinances of the City of Elmhurst, Illinois. 5.10, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of an amendment to the reciprocal easement agreement by and between the City of Elmhurst and Addison Corridor Development. 5.11, an ordinance waiving bid and authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and authorizing the execution of a contract for the 2022 asphalt rejuvenating program. 5.12, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of one fire rescue aluminum john boat and one john boat trailer for the city's fire department, and authorizing the disposal of one 2008 CR-13 Zodiac rescue boat. 5.13, a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and authorizing the execution of a contract for the 2022 inlet cleaning program. 5.14, a resolution rejecting all bids for the 2022 water main improvements project in the city of Elmhurst, Illinois. 5.15, a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and authorizing the execution of a contract for the 2022 crack sealing and seal coating program. 5.16, a resolution authorizing the purchase of one 2022 Ford F-150 4x4 pickup truck with snowplow package for use by the city's wastewater treatment plant staff. 5.17, a resolution approving and authorizing the renewal of the Lucidity computerized management maintenance system software licenses for the city of Elmhurst, Illinois. 5.18, a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and authorizing the execution of a contract for the 2022 concrete pavement patching project for the city of Elmhurst, Illinois. And 5.19, a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and authorizing the execution of a contract for the 2022 tree inventory project for the city of Elmhurst, Illinois.
Thank you, Clerk Tamer. We're ready for step 2, if you'll
Yes.
call the roll.
Honquist? Sorry, he's absent, sorry. Bastido?
Aye.
Mulliner?
Aye.
Brennan?
Aye.
Varimus?
Aye.
Deuter?
Aye.
Dunn?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Palumski?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Toludo?
Aye.
Cahill?
Aye.
Nudera? Absent. Park? Absent. 3 ayes, 0 nays, 3 absent.
11 ayes?
Sorry, 11 ayes, 3 nays. No, 11 ayes, 0 nays, 3 absent.
All right, 11 ayes, 0 nays, 3 absent. The consent agenda is passed, minus item 5.5. Clerk Tamer, would you read the report for 5.5?
It is therefore the recommendation of the Development, Planning, and Zoning Committee that the City Council direct the City Attorney to prepare the necessary documents to grant Elmhurst Hall, 119 North York, a facade grant in the amount not to exceed $60,673. Signed, Danny Palumski, Chair, Mark A. Mulliner, Vice Chair, and Emily Bastido, Alderwoman, Ward 6.
All right, I have a motion to put this before the council. Motion, Alderman Palumski. Second, Alderman Mulliner. Alderman Palumski.
Alderman Deuter pulled this report. I'd like to defer to her.
Alderman Deuter.
Thank you, Mayor. I pulled this report so that I could vote present in accordance with our city code to avoid a potential conflict of interest.
Very good. Anyone else? All right, with that, Clerk Tamer, if you call the roll on 5.5.
Honquist is absent. Bastido?
Aye.
Mulliner?
Aye.
Brennan?
Aye.
Varimus?
Aye.
Deuter?
Present.
Dunn?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Palumski?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Toludo?
Aye.
Cahill?
Aye.
Nudera absent. Park absent. 10 ayes, 0 nays, 1 present, 3 absent.
10 ayes, 0 nays, 1 present, 3 absent, 5.5 passes. On to reports and recommendations of appointed and elected officials. Several items. First, I attended the Farmers Market on Valette, which is every Wednesday morning. They have a very significantly developed program there. If you haven't had the opportunity to do there, whether you're watching or if you're on the dais here, it's certainly worthwhile. I also attended the 4 on the 4th. We had what seemed perhaps as a record 1,000 race participants, a very well organized event. Item 3, Special Kids Day is holding a special event on July 31st between noon and 4. It's for children and adults with special needs to let them learn something about how our city's operations with participation by all of the city's departments and the city council as well. They'll be voting on some important issues that I will preside over on that day, and they'll show you guys how it's done. You need to go to the website if you want to register, and again, July 31st, noon to 4, and that would be our website, I believe, is it, to register. Lastly, with respect to the happenings in Highland Park yesterday, obviously we were all quite shocked to hear the news. I watched TV all day and couldn't believe that this shooting, which occurred on a holiday during a parade in a suburban street. First, to the people of Highland Park, on behalf of the people of the city of Elmhurst, our hearts are heavy and sad, and our thoughts and prayers are with you at this difficult time. There are no words to lessen the pain and grief of families and friends who lost their loved ones due to this incomprehensible event. There are no words to alleviate the anxiety of the victims who survived this violent incident that will forever remain in their memory. Unfortunately, these kinds of incidents happen more and more over the past years. It seems like there's literally one a week. We cannot become numb to this kind of incident. As you'll recall, this is the second suburb in about 3 years that has had this kind of mass shooting, Aurora, with its occurrence in 2019. I will not weigh in on the political arguments, but we must really work together to address what is happening in our communities and our society. As the Highland Park community mourns, our community shares in the common anxiety and fear of many. The fact is that gun violence jeopardizes public safety. No matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, there are things that most of us can agree on, including keeping guns out of the hands of dangerous people. To our own community, we will be ever vigilant in Elmhurst. I can assure you that our own public safety team has thought through these scenarios and proactively partners with schools and other agencies to provide the highest level of public safety. And although you may think there's not much you can do, I encourage you to speak with your family about the ways which our public safety team works to protect them, and by using your voice to support sensible gun laws and common sense gun safety. For the public, that also means be diligent, report unusual behaviors or activities to our police. As I've said in the past, sometimes people are hesitant to call our police, and there's only one number to call, it's 911. If you think it's suspicious, if you think it's a matter of potential concern, the police department is more than happy to hear from you, and would be better to be safe than to be sorry. For the city, we will continue to make sure that our plans are up to date to meet any crisis, hoping that we never have to activate them. So those are my thoughts. Thank you. Assistant City Manager?
No report.
No report. Any other reports from the dais? Alderman Jensen.
Thank you, Mayor. Yesterday, we gathered with friends and loved ones to celebrate the 246th anniversary of our independence. But our day was darkened while others were destroyed by yet another mass shooting, of which there have been over 300 this year. 246 years of freedom, liberty, and for most of those years, responsibility. Liberty cannot be understood without consideration of the safety of our neighbors. It requires balancing the freedoms desired by different groups within our community. A narrow few understand freedom to be a society that allows troubled people in their late teens or early 20s unfettered access to weapons of war. For me and a substantial majority of Americans, liberty means that we can enjoy a holiday with family and friends unburdened by fear that we or our loved ones will be murdered by such a weapon. There is no single solution to this, but I think we can and we must address it from both sides, mental health and firearm access. We in this room officially have no say in the matter. Illinois statute says so, but I know that there are people in our community that engage in politics beyond the city level. I implore you to use your influence to move the needle to a place where common sense, not political aspiration, is the deciding factor. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Jensen. Alderman Deuter.
Thank you, Mayor. One of the primary responsibilities of the city is public safety, and I would guess that most of us sitting up here would say it's our top priority. The importance of public safety is reflected in our police department, which is arguably the best around. We have outstanding officers and department leadership, and they have the technology and equipment to effectively do their job. The tragedy that happened yesterday in Highland Park feels personal. It's close to us in many ways. I wish we could reassure the public that it couldn't happen here, but we can't say that. We can't fortify or harden every target, and we can't cancel every parade or public gathering. I'm mindful that local government does not have a direct role in the regulation of firearms, but we do carry the primary responsibility for the safety of our residents. We also have a responsibility to provide the maximum protection possible for our police officers and first responders. We can't say we are doing everything to protect our public and our officers and first responders if we remain silent on common sense gun regulations. I challenge all of us to consider who should have access to assault weapons, what actions at the federal level need to be taken, and what role we should play in advocating for changes. What we've done and can do locally isn't enough.
Thank you, Alderman Deuter. Alderman Dunn.
I'm pleased to report at the last Fly Quiet meeting, which was 2 weeks ago today, potentially could be our last Fly Quiet meeting, a runway rotation plan was voted on and passed, one that is fair, that exposes all sides of the airport equally, east, west, north, south. And after 7 years of the Fly Quiet Committee meeting, we finally were able to pass what I think everyone felt was a reasonable plan for nighttime rotation. Along with that, there were implementation recommendations for the FAA to follow in implementing this. So next steps on this is we're hopefully calling a special meeting in July of the full ONCC to review and vote on that. That recommendation that came out of the Fly Quiet Committee, and then that will move on to the CDA and the FAA. So pleased to report on that and keep you posted of the progress of that. Thanks.
And Alderman Dunn, on behalf of the council, I want to thank you for the many, many hours that you've devoted and the leadership you've provided in that organization, and you've represented our interests quite well. Thank you. Other announcements? All right. There being none. Other business, is there any other business to be brought before the council? Seeing none, I would ask for a motion to adjourn. Alderman Hill, second by Alderman Cahill. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. We are adjourned. Thank you.